I am Kortney Ross. I have taken the skills and traits that I developed in 10 years as a music educator in K-12 public schools, combined those with an interest in design and a passion for helping others learn and improve themselves, and turned it into a career as a freelance instructional designer. I've worked in several different platforms and am proficient in many of the standard industry tools such as Articulate Storyline and Rise, Camtasia, Beyond, Canva, and more. I have experience building corporate-facing learning, software training, and courses for entrepreneurs to grow and expand their business. I would like to walk you through an example of each of those types of work in this video. First, let's take a look at an employee engagement course that I helped design as a subcontractor for IDLance. This course was created for frontline managers, especially in the utility industry. It explored the importance of maintaining high employee engagement and provided valuable strategies to foster and sustain engagement on the team. My responsibilities for this course included analyzing an existing Thinkific course and mapping and listing out all of the current assets in that course. Then I outlined a new course based on the client's ideas for improving the Thinkific course, mapped out existing content to that outline to determine what we would need to create, what new material we would need, and then wrote extensive storyboards for a main storyline course, a secondary storyline course, plus 3 additional 7-TAPS micro-learning courses. Of course, I made edits to all of these documents based on revisions suggested from our quality assurance individual and from the client themselves. Throughout the project, I maintained my current files in a shared Google Drive folder, delivered all assets on time based on the timeline created by the project manager, participated in the client meetings, and maintained regular communication with the storyline developer to answer any of her questions. I really enjoyed this project. I received lots of positive feedback throughout the project and loved working with such a positive team at IDLance. I also enjoyed learning a little bit about a new industry and topic. Next, I'm going to share a project that I had the pleasure of working on, which was a software training for the volunteer management system volley.org. I worked with their current trainer and product manager to develop an online learning solution to supplement or replace their current in-person instructor-led training because they were just unable to keep up with demands with only one trainer. My responsibilities for this course included going through existing PDF guides that they used for those in-person trainings and working with the current trainer and product manager to better understand the platform and training needs. Then I developed a project plan, which included an estimated timeline and had the client review that before outlining the course, which of course they also reviewed before I started to actually write out the content. The next step was to write video scripts and storyboards and collect feedback on those before beginning the production of the assets we would need for the course. I created screencast videos and images of how to use the platform, recorded voiceovers, designed slides and thumbnail images, and then edited all of that together to create instructional videos. I'll play just a snippet of this one for you.
Welcome to the Volley Training Platform. This first level will cover everything you need to know about creating a volunteer opportunity for your school or organization. This video will show you how to keep your account details up to date and how to add contacts and locations. We'll get started by logging in to the administrator's dashboard. Then, navigate to the Manage menu at the top of the page and select My School or My Agency.
All of these videos are available on YouTube at volley.org's YouTube channel if you would like to see them in their entirety. In addition to the videos, I also composed several types of assessments for this course, including various quiz questions and writing prompts, and interactive scenario-based practice opportunities using Articulate Storyline. So here is an example of one of those scenarios. Here the learner is presented with a scenario where they are going to create a volunteer opportunity that they're going to need people to register for, and they're going to decide if they need shifts for that opportunity or not. So this is a reproduction of what it would look like on the website when they're creating the volunteer opportunity. And then it walks them through all of the steps that they would do to complete that volunteer opportunity creation in the software. Another example, this is an interactive quiz that I created. So here we're going to look at several different menu options and test the knowledge from the video that they had just watched. So there's just a few kind of true or false questions they would have to answer about what they learned in the video. And then we get to questions where they're having to visually identify which icon they would choose in the software for filtering by shift, by date, and by the volunteer's status. This was a quiz that was graded, and if they did not get at least 80%, it would take them back to the beginning and require them to complete the file again before they were able to move on in the course. I also redesigned these original PDF guides to better match up with what we had covered throughout the course, and then they were available as a download so that people could use them to go back and reference just these quick little PDFs instead of having to rewatch all of the videos. So there is an example of how I've redesigned those PDFs. And of course, I added all of this content to the client's chosen LMS, which in this case was MyQuest, and maintained frequent and professional communication with them throughout the project. As you can see, they really appreciated the work that I was doing for them, and I enjoyed creating this training for volley.org because I was responsible for the entire project and could immediately really feel and see the impact that I was making for this nonprofit organization. The final project I'm going to walk you through is Empowered Breastfeeding Bootcamp, which is a course I created for an entrepreneur who owns Empowered Bumps and Boobs. She offers coaching to support breastfeeding moms and is now offering this course that will have a community aspect as well. She needed help developing the course so that she could launch it more quickly than she would have been able to do if she developed it all herself. And I was really excited to work on this topic that I'm also really passionate about, and dove right in and helped her get it ready to launch in about 3 weeks. For the Breastfeeding Bootcamp project, I analyzed her existing content, which included some course text that she had already written herself, some podcast episodes, and even some blog entries. Also, the podcast is how I met this particular client. As you can see here, I appeared as a guest on her show talking about breastfeeding. After I organized her content, I went through it and developed a course outline, which included developing a consistent format for each module. So you can see here that each module was going to have a very particular set of things included in that. Then I drafted the text for most of the course content, which did include having to do a little bit of research and finding additional materials myself. Part of that consistent format for each module was including story-based scenarios for each topic. These followed a character named Trish throughout the course and asked the learner to do some reflective writing on how they would respond in certain scenarios. We also added plan for later prompts to encourage these new moms or expecting mamas to take action now to help them prepare for their breastfeeding journey later on. I composed several types of assessment questions throughout, like multiple choice, true, false, and writing. Collaborated with her graphic designer to produce informational graphics and thumbnails to give the course a consistent look. The graphic designer made most of these based on my descriptions or needs, and I made a few of them, such as this one myself. And then I built this course in Kajabi before passing it off back to the client for her to finish it up and get it ready to launch. I went through it with my own quality assurance checklist to make sure the course was consistent and high quality, and then gave her a list of things that I would suggest doing to improve the course in the future. Things that either she would need to do herself or things that she could come back and hire me to do for her or hire somebody else to do in the future. I really enjoyed working on this project because I also am passionate about helping support moms and families, and I truly felt that this course would be really helpful to new moms. As you can see in our little text excerpt there, I was constantly learning new things as I put this course together that I was like, man, I wish I would have known that when I was breastfeeding. So there's 3 projects, very different kinds of projects that, as you can see, I have a vast variety of experience, and I would love to help you design your next course or training materials. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to rosslearningsolutions.com to see a few more example projects and learn more about me, or just reach out to learn more about how we can work together.